Segment 3, Introducing Yourself to Your Students. Activity 3, Remember being a student? You experienced many first days of school on the other side of the desk before you became a teacher. Can you remember your thoughts and feelings from those first days?
At the next slide, please pause the program and take a couple of minutes to look down the list on page 16, or use the electronic template at the readytoteach.com website and write the letter M for me beside any thought or feeling you have experienced as a student, K through college, on that first day of class.
So much for your thoughts and feelings. Now, with the next slide, pause the program again for a couple of minutes. Go back down the list, this time writing the letter S for student beside each thought and feeling a student might have sitting in your room on the first day of school. When you have finished, consider what you have just realized and continue the program. Anxiety! A little tension is good, like a drumhead, but too much tension contributes to a negative class climate and interferes with student learning. One of your first tasks in getting off to a good start is to reduce students' anxiety while maintaining an academically focused classroom. In his first book, Harry Wong identified two first-day fears of students as, "Will I find the right room?" and "Will the teacher say my name right?"
Several years later, Everton and Harris identified 4 first day's uncertainties.
On that first day, students want to know, who is this teacher? And what is he or she like as a person? Is the teacher nice, fair, respectful? What does this teacher expect of me? How am I supposed to do school? What do I do if I'm late or I need to go to the restroom or my pencil breaks? How does this teacher grade? Can I pass this class? And what will my experience as a student be like in here? Am I safe physically? Am I safe emotionally? Let's start with students' first concern about you. Who is this teacher and what is he or she like? How do you introduce yourself to your students? Already you have greeted students at the door as they entered, and hopefully with a smile. More about this later. Activity 4. Successful teachers begin the year by reducing students' anxiety about their new teacher. Think of what you want to communicate to your students about who you are and what they can expect of you. Imagine you are a student in your class. What would you want to know? Something about that person in front of you as a teacher? As a person? Something about that person's attitude toward the coming year? About the fairness you can expect? About what your teacher values? What information would cause you to feel comfortable and excited about school and willing and motivated to work? Pause the program at the next slide and on page 18, or using the electronic template at the Ready to Teach website, jot down ideas you have for introducing yourself to your students in each of the 6 areas you find there. Remember, for the 2 at the top, choose carefully what you share and avoid TMI, too much information. When you have listed 3 or more ideas in each cell, continue the program. Interested in seeing what other teachers in a GoTag session have contributed to this activity? On this slide and the next 2 are over 50 ideas. Pause the program for as long as you wish to read through the ideas, copy down any you like, start the program again in the play mode from the 3rd slide when you are ready to move on. You now have a bank of ideas to introduce yourself to your students in 6 different areas. Which ideas will you choose to use? For students who are capable of reading and writing, sentence stems are a quick and easy way to learn about your students and allow them to learn something about you. Some sentence stems can provide useful information to better understand your students. Vision problems, prior negative school experiences, what motivates them, preferred types of reading material, positive or negative prior school experiences. You are welcome to copy and use the ones in the book, or you may wish to select some of the stems on page 23 or craft some of your own. With the next slide, please pause the program to read pages 20 through 23, including the story and its reflection box. When finished, begin the program again. We are about to leave the second of 6 topics that effective teachers address before the school year begins, and we end with some things to do and some things to avoid. Do: greet students at the door with a smile as they enter, because it sets a positive tone. I am not a proponent of the adage, "Don't smile before Christmas." I like what Satchel Paige once said, "Smile makes people wonder what you're up to." If you can call students by name as you greet them, it makes an amazing first impression. You know their name. Wow! How can you do this? If you can get access to student names and photos before school begins and make study flashcards of names and faces, it is possible. And calling them by name as they enter the classroom establishes amazing credibility on your part. In one of his videos, Harry Wong says to tell each student as they enter you are glad to see them, and he adds, lie if you have to, but say it anyway. Do have your name written clearly on the board, because it lets students know they're in the right place and who you are. Do tell students a little something about yourself, because it humanizes you and reduces some of their anxiety. Do communicate a sense of enthusiasm for the year, because in multiple research studies, students repeatedly identify teacher enthusiasm as a key attribute of their most effective teachers. Finally, do consider using a sentence stem activity, completing a page yourself, and making multiple copies to trade with each student. Note that this activity can also serve as an introduction to parents if students share your completed sentence stems at home. Choose carefully how you complete your sentences. One crucial avoid. Avoid trying to be your student's buddy and friend. They have friends and buddies their own age. What they need is a friendly teacher. Please pause the program with the next slide, turn to page 99 or go to your electronic template, and jot down ideas about introducing yourself to your students that you want to remember to try. When you have made your notes, continue the program. You have now completed the second of 6 topics, introducing yourself to your students. Thus far, you have covered a total of 25 pages, completed 4 activities, jotted down ideas you want to remember to try on the 2 topics of arranging your room and materials and introducing yourself to your students. Please exit this file and open the next one, Part 4 of 8. Note that the files of Part 4 and 5 are 2 subdivisions of the 3rd topic, Developing and Teaching Class Rules and Procedures.